Welcome back to my channel, sports fans. Okay, let's talk about this one right here. Jxmyhighroller. He did not take the high route. I don't watch this guy's videos. Well, I don't watch his channel. His videos just happened to automatically play on my YouTube yesterday. I don't know if you know about YouTube where, it will auto play a video through sound, even if you don't press on it. And that's what happened. And I was going to turn it off, but I thought when I changed my mind about the debate. I thought he was talking about Michael Jordan and LeBron. But he goes on to talk about all this different stuff that talks about Wemby, Tim Duncan, the 17 Warriors. He talks about LeBron. Man, before we get into this, let me say this. This guy, you got to give this guy some type of credit because, he reads a good script. He's a good voice and stuff like that. I mean, he's got okay editing with all these people behind him. I went down if the NBA pays him money to lie, just like the. It's just horrible. The NBA is so bad, and we're going to talk about what he talked about. But when you got to diss past eras, the NBA does this. Okay, when we talk about first things first, we talk about ESPN and Undisputed and First Take and all this stuff that these guys have come out with, these debate shows to try to help the NBA. I know they talk about other sports, but they try to help the NBA because the NBA has been in terrible shape since Michael Jordan left. I mean, go watch my video on that. And when Jordan left in 98, the finals ratings was 29 million. That's what it averaged. It took them all the way until 2016 for the NBA to average 20 million viewers in the NBA finals. Okay. And then it went down from there. It went down from there. I think the next season it averaged 20 million. I'm not for sure. I'm pretty sure. I think it went down. But I know after 17, they have never averaged 20 million viewers again. The game is, it's just not the same since Michael Jordan left. And you could even see in the 80s, they was averaging 20 million viewers in the NBA finals. So the NBA had got so bad that, even Shaq, Kobe, your Tim Duncans, your LBJ, LeBron James, they cannot carry the NBA. And LeBron has had the worst ratings in the NBA finals when the Golden State Warriors aren't playing. Okay, you can go to the Miami days. You can go to the bubble. You can go to 2007. Nobody wants to see LeBron. The face of the NBA, since he came in, supposedly, nobody wants to see this guy in the finals. That's pretty sad. So, let me say this about this guy, Jxmyhighroller. When you're trying to compare players of the past to this era, you can't do that, bro. When you don't put any context into it, the style of play, they have real positional players. You play actual defense. You practice. You didn't diss the fans. You play team ball and stuff like that. So why is this guy trying to compare players and teams of the past era? It doesn't work. So he beats up on Tim Duncan. He says that people are crazy for putting Tim Duncan in a top 5, and people have gone all the way up to putting this guy number 1, number 2. And I can agree with that. But when you got LeBron James number 1 and number 2 or top 5 or top 10, like this guy has, LeBron, you lose all credibility, right? Tim Duncan, because he said Tim Duncan was part of a system. Well, he was a part of a system that got players through the draft and made them better. LeBron James didn't do that. He can't make teammates better. All he can do is try to get the best players, franchise players of other teams that were number 1 franchise players, and play with them because he has so many shortcomings. He's not a good player. Okay? What's his position? Nobody knows. He's not really good at any position. Yeah, you guys act like he can play all these positions, but he's really not a great positional player, right? So let's move on. He talks about Wemby. He says that if we don't look at what his career is going to be or his potential coming in, and we just look at what he's did in his rookie season, and we compare, he would take him over other players' rookie seasons like Hakeem, Kareem, who do you say, Shaq, Duncan, and Michael Jordan. What they did in their rookie season wasn't as impressive as what Wemby has did in his rookie season. And remember, he left out Wilt Chamberlain too. So you know this guy doesn't know nothing about basketball because he didn't even want to, put Wilt Chamberlain in the mix, right? Because he would be looking like an idiot, right? But then again, he's not going to respect anything that Wilt did, because he'll say, oh, no, he was playing against plumbers and all this stuff. But let's look at this. Wemby, 21 points, 10 rebounds. What's he got? 3.4 blocks, right? And it's weak, no defensive error. Who's he playing against? Where's the great centers? Where's the defense? Well, he put up this graphic. So Shaq, 23 points in his rookie season, 13 rebounds, 3.5 blocks. So we can see already Shaq had a better season than Wemby, right? You got Kareem, 28 points, 14 rebounds. They didn't count blocks then. But obviously, Kareem, by the numbers, had a better season as a rookie. Jordan, the rebounds aren't going to be there, but this guy led his team in 4 statistical categories, 28 points, 6.5 rebounds, 6 assists, 2.4 steals. That, to me, that's a better season than what Wemby's doing. Tim Duncan, 21 points, 11 rebounds, 2.5 blocks. A better season than what Wemby is having. Hakeem, 20 points, 12 rebounds, 2.7 blocks. So I don't know what this guy is talking about. He tries to throw in the mix that Wemby can shoot the 3. He's a better shooter. Again, the floor is spread out. Where's the defense? It's just 4 guys setting up at the 3-point line and 1 guy in the middle. So actually this guy is underachieving, right? He should be getting like 15 rebounds and scoring 30 points a game, right? This should be easy for him. He doesn't have to face a Shaq. He doesn't have to face a Mutombo. He doesn't have to face a Mourning. He doesn't have to face a Kareem. He doesn't have to face a Wilt. He doesn't have to face Hakeem, Tim Duncan, or any great centers of the past. This is this guy that, Jxmyhighroller is taking over all the great centers of the past. A guy who doesn't have to go against nobody. Who are you going to say, Joker? Really? No defense? Joke. Look, I'm not taking Joker over Shaq, Hakeem, Kareem, Wilt, Tim Duncan. None of these great centers in the past. There's no way. No way. Where's the resistance for Joker? He's just out there operating. That's all he's doing. Operating. No, nobody's stopping him from doing anything. There's no resistance to anything he's doing. Embiid couldn't play in the 80s, the 90s, the 70s, the 60s. This guy's always hurt. You can't stay. Bro, there's no great centers that Embiid is playing against, and he still can't stay on the court. What would happen if he was playing in past eras with real great big men? He couldn't make it. He'd be a bench player. I don't know. Maybe he'd be Greg Oden or something like that. Wasn't Greg Oden like the early 2000s? Something like that? He won't be able to make it. He won't be able to make it through the grind. So let's touch on this. He talks about the 17 Warriors would just dog walk any great team of all time. He said they would dog walk the 2000 Lakers, the 96 Bulls. He pretty much pooped in the face of the 86 Celtics. Go watch the video. He didn't bring up the Showtime Lakers. I mean, This is what these guys need to do to be great. He said this was the greatest team ever assembled, right? It's not organic, it's assembled, right? It's kind of like them putting a dream team together. This is what these guys need to do in this era to be great, right? They need to put three great shooters together. That's what they need against an era that plays no defense. But yet, this 2017 Warriors team, they didn't have a better record than the 16 Warriors. And who did they play in the finals? Well, a team that played in the weak East. This will tell you what this era is all about. It's not about nothing. They played the Cavs. The Cavs was a weak team. It's not a great team, all-time great team on offense or defense. That team just played in a weak East. But look at it. So weak. LeBron, the next season without Kyrie, made it to the finals. After he shuffled the team around during the trade deadline, he still made it to the finals. That's how weak that East was. All right? This is why nobody is watching the NBA, because it's a joke. There's no rivalries. There's nobody that wants to put forth effort. You guys are telling us that these guys are getting paid the biggest contracts of all time just to play offense. And whoever can outshoot who, that's who's going to win. And you need the best players on one team in the league to win. The greatest team of all time, they said before in 2016, got beat. But what kind of greatest team of all time is that? And then they got to go get one of the greatest shooters of all time just to win the next season. This era's a joke. That's why I said you cannot compare past players of different eras to this era. It doesn't work. But they only do that because this era is weak. This league is weak. These guys have no fundamentals. They had to change the rules for these guys so they can just play one way. They don't have the energy. They don't have the fundamentals to play both sides of the ball, to play actual basketball, to play actual positional basketball. These guys do not have the motor for that, right? What would a Wemby be doing if he had a battle in the trenches against a Mutombo, against a Shaq? I mean, these guys would have to pack on muscle, right, just to play in the 80s and the 90s. These guys are... Look, I hate to say it, but these aren't real NBA players to me. They don't hustle. Like Sports and Fitness Rant says, they don't have the grit. They're not positional players. They're just shooters. Shooters. That's what you got, shooters. And there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you want to do in your era. But that's all you got is shooters. In my era, we had shooters. We had defense. We had positional players. We didn't need this past eras to prove how great our players was. We didn't do that. You have NBA players dissing their own league. You have the NBA dissing their own league of past players. This is how bad it's gotten, right? And when I say the NBA, we're talking about they pay ESPN. They pay Fox Sports to promote their game. And this is where all this dissing, debating came from ESPN and Fox Sports. So it branched out into YouTube, and then players start doing it too. You're dissing your own product, your own league. It's got that bad. It's that bad. This is what they got to do to have people focus on their game instead of the game selling itself based on its play, rivalries, fundamentals, great players. They don't have that. So they got to pay. Well, I think they're paying YouTube channels too, like Jxmyhighroller, right? Because this guy doesn't come out with any context like, oh man, we can't, compare these guys or compare these teams because they were playing under different rules. They had positional players. They did this, they did that. So how can we compare? And if you do compare, you got to put out what was going on at this time as far as the game, how they was playing it. You just can't go out there and start comparing. But this is what these guys do because the league is awful. It's horrible. Nobody's watching this stuff. And go watch my video on the NBA ratings. That will tell you if nobody's watching the championship game, nobody's watching your league. We see this with the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl hits all-time ratings every single year, just about. The NBA is going down. So that's all they can do now to keep it afloat. Controversy. Dissing their own past players. Paying other people to do this stuff. I'm trying to tell you, if they didn't have this going on for the past 10 years, it would be MLB ratings. I don't know what to say. They just can't carry this league. And if you think these players are getting paid these contracts, having to go sit on the desk, I don't know what to tell you. It's a failing product, but you're trying to tell me these guys are making more money than ever? It's not on me to tell you to use common sense. It's on yourself. For you to think that somebody's going to make tens of millions and hundreds of millions and then have to go sit at a desk when they retire. That's on you if you want to think that. I mean, that's a whole different video. But you guys tell me what you think.